Hey everyone, before this video starts, just want to let you know if you want to support me in this channel in any way, I have a couple links in the description. TCG Player, if you're picking up any cards off of that site, I have a link, an affiliate link down there for them. Just help support me. You know, if you buy any cards off the site by clicking my link, supports me. I've got a coupon code for Nen Garden, Straw Hat Pecan for 5% off. Works on top of their sales, so they're running a spring sale right now, which is pretty dope to see. And I recently got the Whole Cake Island play mat sent to me. Thank you, Nen Garden. Gonna be using it for my locals videos, as well as I've been using the Shanks one that I got on my own because I liked it. I like the design, and yeah, pretty nice stuff. Really good designs for a few different IPs, but let's get into it. I've got another deck profile for Boa this time, trying out a few different pieces, right? I'm not gonna go super in depth with all of the cards. I'll link my other Boa deck profile there, but post ban I want to focus in on a few cards and see how I like them, right? I'm looking for answers in terms of tempo. Obviously Boa is the control form of blue. I'll go for her leader ability for sure. She's a 5-life blue leader. During your turn, once per turn, you may activate this effect when a character leaves play from your abilities. If you have 5 or less cards in your hand, draw a card. So actually, truth be told, I do want to even bring this card up into question. The Gecko Moria, right? Getting that recycle of 2k counters is nice, but truthfully, my current build, I'm looking for more of the higher end cards, honestly. The 7 drops, the Jozu, the Boas, right? So getting into some key choices, right? We have more Perona, being that we need 1-cost characters still. Boa obviously needs 5 cards in hand to use your abilities to draw a card, right? So keeping your hand size down is kind of crucial. We do that by countering out a little bit earlier because we run 12 2Ks, and we can also recycle searchers a lot, right? By what I mean by that is that, say I play out a Sengoku searcher, I find a Mihawk or a Buggy or a Croc, all my like a lot of my 2Ks. Then on a later turn, I can play out Jozu, right? Bounce back the Sengoku, search again. And also I bounce back one of my opponent's 6-cost characters, right? So the entire plan with this was to give me a curve to play off of to establish bodies, bigger bodies, a lot of them being 7k power and up, while removing my opponent's tempo and being able to save my own life a lot. Another card that I wanted to consider as like a one of, I just typed Gecko Moria again. It's the Mihawk, 9-cost. Just as like maybe a one of or two of. It's just unfortunate that it bottom decks a 7-cost, right? But it is really good stat lines. Cost wise, being a 9-cost, pretty expensive to remove. And then another 9k power option, also leaving us 1 down open to play out another 1-cost, right? So we run 4 Doflamingo blockers to stack top deck, Perona stack as well. You know, obviously, like I said, playing out cards on our 2-don turn feels very strong and is kind of needed, right? Perona is also just really good as, you know, if we're going to be drawing extra cards with our leader building, knowing what we're going to draw into is very helpful. Kaya is very good to get rid of your dead cards. Kaya is essentially our 0-cost event. And what I mean by that is you can play Kaya in the same vein as what I explained with Sengoku. If you have too many dead cards, right, and you need counter, or maybe you even have too many 1Ks, and you know that from what you've seen in your draws so far, you haven't found too many 2Ks, right? Search, didn't find too many 2Ks, right? You can play out Kaya, draw 2, trash 2, get rid of some of those non-counters, and then bounce Kaya back to your hand with like a Jozu or a Bounce Law or even the Croc 2k counter, right? This is our primary way to cycle our hand. Secondly is Mihawk, and which is why I want to put in more copies of this. Really do. I want to try without the Buggy. I want to try without the Buggy. Truthfully, because I think we can get away with cutting 2 copies of a 1-cost. I don't know. I just want to try it out for right now because cycling the deck feels really good to find pieces you need. Buggy, definitely good. It's a 2k counter that we can bounce back to hand very easily with like Jozu. But again, running 4 Piranha, we don't need to rely on Buggy being that 1 cost we bounce back to hand. We can rely more on the Piranha or the Sengoku or even a blocker Law if it comes down to it. That gives us 14 options, right, of 1 cost characters that we can bounce back. That's a lot. So going over like a curve real quick, right? Going on 2 Dan, we really want to go second. Playing out a 1 cost character, primarily a Sengoku or a Piranha on our 2 Dan. Even playing out 2 of them, right? Pretty good. And then on 4 Dan, you know, you're most likely swinging 5, unless you're against Shanks, which then we kind of switch up. Play out the Bounce Law, bounce back either our own counter or like one of our counter cards, one of our 1 costs to our hand, then removing whatever 3 cost character your opponent played back to their hand, you know, denying them that tempo. And then 6 Dan, if you have a 1 cost character still on the board, perfect time to Jozu or even Boa, right? Very good card to also keep for late game, that it can on play prevent a 10 cost from attacking as long as it's not Monkey D. Luffy, right? And then bottom deck a 1 cost. Then 8 Dan, you know, you have Kyros or Doflamingo. I put in a few copies back in of Doflamingo, being that really good to target a 7 cost, right? If I wasn't going to run Doflamingo, I'd probably put in the Mihawk, but I just wanted to keep the cost of the character down a little bit so I could play out like a blocker, right? Because again, if too many cards in your hand, you don't get to draw with the leader ability. So on like 10 Dan, for example, we could play out a blocker, Doflamingo, play out the 7 drop. You know, if we need to get 1 less card out of our hand, right? And of course, on 10 Dan, you have options like your 10 drop Kaido. This is really good to get rid of any 8 cost character as he bounces an 8 cost and 3 cost. Or you can always Red Rock, play out Law, play out a blocker, play out a 1 drop. You know, definitely I want more of these in for Shanks and Blackbeard, right? For those types of matchups, I'm trying to just stay healthy, remove everything my opponent plays, and hope that they can't remove my big bodies, my 7 costs, as I remove their 10 costs, right? And then 2 Grav Blades, because there are a lot of good 7 costs, or 5 costs in the game right now. Obviously, like look at Green, for example, Carrot, Smoker, Cavendish, right? A lot of great 5 costs. So on 7 Dan to get rid of 2 6 cost or lower characters is really nice. Good against aggro. So yeah, that is a lot of like the curve for our tempo plays, right? Of how to bounce, bottom deck, or just remove our opponent's board. And then along the way, playing out our little guys just to get our hand size down, look at what we're going to be getting, you know, and then of course, countering out to stay pretty healthy. For starting hands, I definitely like to see something along the likes of that curve, right? A 1 cost, a 4 cost Law, or if I don't see him, then, you know, the 1 cost being Sengoku is really good. Jozu, definitely because he's not searchable, is something that I do look for, as he helps in pretty much every single matchup. There's not really a time where you don't have almost something to bounce back with how many 1 costs that we play out, right? And also removing a 6 cost while establishing a 6/7, you know? Being that we most likely are going to, on our 4 Dan turn and 6 Dan turn, just swing 5, establishing that 7k power stat line is really good for those later game turns. So yeah, definitely looking for the 1 cost, the Law, Jozu, depending on the matchup, a Red Rock, or a Kaido. And then like any of those pieces in conjunction with 2k counters, Kaya primarily because she can help us filter and also bounce back later, right? So definitely looking for like a Mihawk or Kaya, Law, Jozu, and then maybe an event, something along those lines. But again, it also always depends on the matchup. But that's the deck list that I'm kind of testing out right now. I think Boa is pretty fun still in the post-ban side of things. And I'll say, as a badge of honor, I was testing out a deck list like this and somebody got so upset that I beat them so badly that they called me a very nasty insult that I will not repeat. So that is a badge of honor. I have no claim to be a professional Boa player or the most knowledgeable person about the deck, but it is fun, so I play it a lot. And yeah, let's get into some games. Ooh, we got Usopp. Interesting. So you see, we have pretty decent tempo in terms of our, bounce law and having something to play on our 2-don turn, which is really nice. Getting stage out definitely is a little bit scary. 2 Kaidos is pretty good. Tempted for just another bounce law in case he KOs my first bounce law. And then he doesn't know that I have a second one in my back pocket because I took one, so I'm going to play one out next turn. He won't know that I have a second one. Okay, so he uses Tempest Kick just to draw a card, cycle, I guess. I'm very tempted to do 2-in-1 here, I'm going to be honest, because keeping myself down on hand size isn't too much of a downside, right? Because I'm about to get a Searcher back to my hand and then draw one, right? Because Law comes down, bounces Searcher, no other target, draw. We got a Jozu, perfect. So now we have an option to bounce back a 6 cost that he plays, unless it KOs my Law. We can 2K. Because again, I'm not going to really concern myself with, yeah, there goes bounce law. That's fine. Well, not fine, but it's fine. Getting another bounce law is always a great feeling. So we'll bounce back, bounce not back. Yeah, I forgot he's +1. I just want to search again. That's the true reason. So we can only take the blocker. But yeah, getting more value out of researchers. That's the example I want to give. Forgot he gives +1 innately. But that's fine because we have Kyros to get rid of him. 5 at us. We'll counter 1 and then take the 6. Cool. So we have another Jozu and we have a Kyros. He bounces our Kyros or our bounce law. Let's go. See, but now I'm a little bit too high in hand size, which is unfortunate. So I can play out bounce law, get my Searcher back. I can get rid of 2 cards with playing out these. So that's putting me down to 6. No, still too high, unfortunately. I think I kind of want to just play out blocker, Law, Kyros, his back to hand. Just getting rid of a little bit of his tempo. He takes, which is unfortunate because now he doesn't get to draw, which he wouldn't have been able to anyway because, right, removed from play, but as soon as this hits his hand, then he's at 6. So it wouldn't have drawn him anything, right? And then we play out that pass. Super healthy into our 10-don turn, which is good. We can bounce back his Kyros with our Kaido and get counter back to our hand. Depends what he plays. If he plays out the 7-drop Luffy, I think we can still defend our Kyros. He could also, the Red Rock would hurt us a lot with that in that regard, but that means that he's not playing out another Kyros. So we'll 2K this because we're going to bounce something next turn. So I want to stay under at 5 cards. So next turn I draw into 6, play out 5, And then if I give him Kyros back to hand, I don't really mind too much because he can't bounce this. Blocker, Frankie. Ooh. Well, we'll just bounce Sabo. It looks like. So we can bounce Sabo with that. Swing into his life maybe a little bit. Yeah, it's also debatably, could play out Kaido just to establish that 10-12. But I think establishing a 6-7, then you'd still have to use resources like a Red Rock on, unless he plays any cost reduction. So let's go here. Bounce you back, bounce you back. Unfortunately, we were too high in hand size because of that bounce back. But, let's see. I think we We could just play a blocker, Dofi, because I don't have any 2Ks. So swing 6, maybe get that 2K Sabo back. Cool. And then he blocks. Doesn't get to draw if he does, but it does play out that 3 cost, right? Getting that blocker out. So let's see what we're drawing into next turn. Kyros could be really good. I think Gravity Blade might be better in case he plays out multiple blockers. I kind of want a 2K counter that'll draw into off of that, right? Because if I manage to bottom deck something, get that draw from Bo's effect, that'll be my 2K I draw from that. Then I'll push back up, right? Kind of setting it up so that if I get successful bounce effects, that'll draw into another 2K counter. All right, so he's using Searcher. That's why I still like the Doflamingo blocker, right? Perona accomplishes the same thing, but establishing a blocker is pretty nice. He gets 2K and Rebecca. See what he pitches. Zoro, yeah, it doesn't really get him too much value here. He could KO my blocker, but he doesn't have a stage to rest. Luffy, but he can swing at my blocker, but it doesn't really... well, he can pop the blocker, but then he doesn't get to swing his leader. And I can save... No, I can't really. If he goes like 9 twice, I can not... I can't save the... Can't save my board, unfortunately. All... Blocker. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yep. He's gone. But we can save Kyros at least. And then... Kaido doesn't bounce me that much because he has all 4 costs. So I think I'll get rid of the Sengoku. This can at least bounce me back. So in this, I kind of want a Kaido just to establish something. I'll still draw, right? I can get rid of... I don't really want to get rid of the Luffy, I'll be honest, because he's frozen and he doesn't have enough in his trash to restand him. So giving him back to hand wouldn't really accomplish that much great for me. So let's swing 5. Without that +1, it'd be perfect to get rid of the Bartolomeo, but he's at 4 cost. So then I could use this to get rid of that and Bardo, have this go through. Yeah, but then I feel stupid for not... Okay, he draws. I could swing heavy into Kyros. I also kind of want to get him down to 1 life. But I feel like in my bones this goes through. No, I don't know. I don't know. 12. It's a lot of cards out of 5. We'll see. Cool. So now he has Rebecca and his leader swing. We have a 2K and a 1K. Kyros might be gone here. Who knows? But we have an option. Kaido. Okay. All right. Rebecca into Luffy. Well, he can't actually do it twice. Now I'm thinking about it. We can save our Kyros. Now we can save him. We 2K, and then he can't restand it because he doesn't have 7 in trash. And then 5 at us. I think it's time we take. Okay. So we'll go 5 at life. And we're just going to probably bounce back to Cavendish, I guess. Go 9. Okay. Kaido. Because I don't know his... Luffy's this one's frozen. No, it's not frozen. Now I'm realizing it's not frozen. So I should probably bounce back one of the Luffy's. And that's it. Yep. Draw 2K. Very nice. Very nice. So we're at 3 life. He could use the double attack, which would be very, very bad for us. The double attack event. I've seen a lot of lists still run like 1 or 2 of that. So we have 4K counter. We're going to 2K, get out of what we can. We'll see. We'll see. Trash is the stage. It's hard to tell what's in his trash still because he bottom decked so much of it with his Luffy. But, you know, honestly, getting rid of the Luffy feels pretty good because he didn't really have that much trash anyway. He couldn't have resud. Don't you need like 15 cards in the trash for the event anyway? Now that I'm thinking about it. 9, we can go 1. Maybe he wanted to be not greedy, but like could red rock my Kaido here and then he would have enough to restand the Luffy, go even more Don to it. But I don't know why you want to commit more to the first swing then. I don't know. Maybe he wants to play out a couple of blockers, which we could. Yeah, red rocks. Okay. And then he restands, he can go 11 at it. Or unless he just wants to go 9 and establish a blocker. No, he wants to get rid of it. That's fair. Yep. Cool. 5. We're going to counter 1 because we need to stay healthy, as, you know, we need this to go on for a couple more turns. He's frozen, right? So we can just Kyros, establish a blocker. So we swing 7 here. I should have swung first. My mistake. Because I doing this means that he draws 2. We got a 2K though. That's pretty good. So we just hope that our Kyros lives. That infinite draw with Usopp. It's crazy. What are we at? Oh, he's okay. He bottom decked a lot of his trash. So I was expecting us to both to be like a little bit close to decking out because, you know, it gets a little bit crazy sometimes with Boa and that extra draw, right? But 7 at us, or you can't, I don't know, you can't reach Kyros twice, so he'd be okay. I could save him with my 2K. He might not think I have a lot of counter though because 2 cards in hand, right? But yeah, if he commits all 3 Dawn here, we save it and then just split for game and hope we get it. Or we just block. We don't even need a counter. We can 2K this. Stay just extremely healthy. We can go 11. And hopefully this gets us it. 13. GG. Yeah. Could have played out a couple blockers, but, you know, 2 cards in hand, it's not crazy to think that a 10K might get it. You know, you're kind of just hoping that I don't have a 2K, right? Our life wasn't that. Actually, 2K and bottom decking of 4, right? GG. We got Shanks. Okay. Hopefully we can see our curve pretty well. So, pretty okay. Not the best, honestly. That's a lot better. So we play up Perona. That's a lot of Peronas. We're gonna put another Perona, a Kaya, actually. Something like that. Is what it is. We got some decent responses for later in the game, right? A 2K to counter out of his first swing, most likely. I kind of want that bounce law for his 4 Dawn turn. So we're going to swing 7 here, play out another Perona, giving us more options to bounce back later if he pops one of them. And then also, nice that he took that. So a Boa being a little bit down there is pretty good. I'm going to push that up a little bit. Yeah, something like that. I don't know if we need another Perona. All right, then we'll pass. It's nice that he took the first hit. Just pass back. It's got to be a mistake, I would assume. Swing 6. Or maybe he didn't want me to count. I don't know. I've had people try to starve me before on Boa. Maybe he doesn't have a 4 cost to play. I don't think every deck runs Lucky Roo. He takes. We'll bounce Perona back, choose no second target, and draw. Gotta remember, you can you don't have to choose, right? because it says up to. I was rereading the card just to make sure. 6 down for a Sanji. Maybe another Sanji. Hongo. Okay. 5 at us. We'll counter 1 with a Perona. Okay. So we'll swing 5. And then 6. And then we're going to get rid of that Sanji. I kind of want to get rid of the Hongo. I'm not going to lie. Right. Because it's a 2K back to the hand, but he could be relying on that to combo with like a new gate. Because if he has a new gate or even Rayleigh, that is a pretty big KO potential there. So we're going to bounce that and then pass. I know, silly to give him a 2K counter back to hand, but the reason he played that out is probably because he had it set up to clear our board. And, you know, in doing so, we might have protected our Jozu, right? And also maybe he thinks we have pudding. Maybe we run pudding still, which we don't. But he doesn't know that. And then if he plays out any 7 costs, we can bounce it back with Dofi. 10 costs we can answer with Red Rock. Would like to see more top end, but we have a Boa coming up, which is also pretty good. It's a nice stat line because 8K still has to give 2 cards if he uses leader ability on her. But yeah, I think he probably accidentally misclicked the 4-down turn when he passed. I'll say sim game's not something to take too seriously, of course, but just using as an example of combos, tempo plays. As you see, you know, he played out the Hongo, right? So it is something that he most likely wants to use out for a future turn. We're going to 2 and 1 to keep our hand size down. And then I don't really want to defend all of the swings. We can take up to 5 cards because then you draw the 6 and then, oh, he doesn't swing there. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I kind of want to bounce back the Hongo again. Can't make it so Luffy can attack with Boa. Because if he's playing it out, then he definitely has something. Maybe on like a, I don't know what we even need the Hongo out for at this point, right? Maybe he has a Rayleigh. You know, I don't know. If we do this, we can swing 7 and 7. So we'll do that. Yep. Just draw Perona. I kind of want to rush him down a bit. I don't think we get too much value swinging 7s there, as he just requires 1 card. And we know he has 2 Ks in his hand, but doing this, maybe he has to kind of give up the Hongo for a counter, hopefully. And I would rather have a Kyros or something else here, right, to have more big bodies, but having 2 7Ks is not bad. He can't get rid of them right now with like a Rayleigh. If he has a 10 drop, of course, you know, 10 drop's a 10 drop, but then we just red rock it. Using the Rayleigh, interesting, means that he probably just doesn't have his top end yet. Grab blade would be really good for this example, you know. Not really sure why he didn't swing with the Sanji, because you do get rewarded by me swinging into it. Keeping it standing just kind of means if I need to deal with it, I'm just going to bounce it or bottom deck it, which then you don't get that value out of. I mean, if it's back to your hand, they can counter out with it, of course, but we'll see. Oh, big swing. I mean, I can go 2-2 and then counter 1 if he goes 7 there. It's like a lot of my hand size, but I feel like it's worth to keep open the big bodies. Okay, yeah, 7 at us will take then, yeah, for sure. Although if he swings 6 again here, then I don't really want to go down to 3 life. Because I assume he's going to... he could attach the Restodon here. Maybe that's what he's debating. But if he goes 7, then yeah, we'll take and hopefully with some counter. Maybe a Gravity Blade. or even Kaido would be pretty good in this scenario. We can bounce back to Sanji as well. We'll take that 7. Kaido, perfect. So if he swings, yeah, that's unfortunate, right? But we can really kind of out-tempo another Kaido. Interesting. So we can really kind of out-tempo him here by swing 5. Cool. We're going to Kaido, get rid of you and you, draw, and then again, I really should have given back the Luffy because it's a dead card. That was my mistake. My thought process was he'll probably just play out the Luffy again and get more value, but I don't care too much if he plays out the Luffy again, right? Because that's 5 Don out of his hand, meaning again, he doesn't play a big character. But he gave us that Hongo and the Sanji, and he takes the 7. There's a lot of times where playing Shanks, you really do have a hand this big and you have a lot of bricks, right? That does happen. Maybe that's why he played out the Rayleigh. That Shanks coming down. Okay. I can't protect this, but I can protect the rest of them, right? And then we have honestly just 11k, and I mean, we're gonna bottom deck that Shanks for sure. We'll give it 2k here. 5 at us. We'll counter 1. Just to bottom deck that, because we did just get 2 Don value back out of that, right? So we'll go 7. Use ability and counters. Okay, 2k. Then we'll go 9. And then since we were able to stay so healthy, we're in a really good spot here. So he gave a lot of 1Ks. So I think I could be really safe here and KO his Luffy, but either way, I'm not really thinking I'm at risk too much at dying. He would have to play out 2 rush cards, which could be possible, of course, but that means there would be very low swings, and I have 7k counter right here out of 2 cards. And that's probably what the swings would be around. Yeah, so that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. You have a lot of bricks, right? Even though he had 2 0 costs and 1k from the ace, you know, a lot of bricks. He didn't have another big body to answer a little bit earlier, which is why I guess he had to use the Rayleigh to cycle. Oh, we got purple black Luffy. That, ooh, I'm gonna mulligan that. Okay, I mean, hopefully we can find our pieces. Let's search, pick up a bounce law for sure. That's pretty good because we'll play the Zoro. We can bounce it back. Let's pick up Perona then, so we'll know what we draw. That's another bounce law. Okay. So I guess we'll draw into a 2k and then Jozu. Sure. Pass. Can I counter out though? Yes, I have a lot of counter. So yeah, finding multiple 2Ks is also kind of what I should have mentioned in starting hand. Like finding multiple 2Ks is really good. Again, staying at pretty high life, you can find your pieces, right? You get to essentially, or you should be drawing an extra card almost every turn, right? And well, I'll still counter out here because I'll draw even more cards by getting these back to my hand. So we'll go 5 at life, and then I can bounce both of these back and still draw. Boom, boom, bam. I mean, I won't have something to bounce with Jozu, but is what it is. Zoro, okay. I can bounce that with Law. Well, I don't have Law anymore. I forgot. Okay, maybe I should have bounced Law himself back to hand. Left a 1 cost. Yeah. Gets the 10 drop Luffy. We're going to 2k. Again, staying very healthy. Now that we know he has the Luffy, and there's the Law. I remember I knew I saw a different Law. Okay. Let's go Perona. What do I want to draw into? What do I want to pick up? Maybe a 2k. Next turn, Grab Blade. Sure. So let's go. Boom, bam. Oh, he's a 5 cost. I forgot. 5 cost. Yeah, I'm stupid. Forgot he's a 5 cost with a Don attached. That's why. So we'll go 5 again. So I did all that because I needed to play out a 1 cost, guys. I needed to play out another 1 cost. I established more 5s. You know, I'm just peppering them. It's okay. Sometimes you forget. I saw he was 4 cost, and then that was before he put the Don on. He took. So we'll play back out the Perona. Again, that's honestly, I probably should have bottom decked that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'll research again with Perona next turn. Probably bottom deck that stuff because I almost want to find a red rock for that 10 drop Luffy. He's pretty low on health though. Okay, we still do have a lot of counter to protect our board. And I can't get rid of him. And let, ooh, 5 at us. We'll counter 1 Jozu because we already have 1 in hand. 7 at us. Oh, 7 there. Yeah, sure. Probably gonna lose our board, but that's, you know, I think that's fine in long run. All right, so we'll go Jozu, bounce back, draw, Perona again. No red rock, but we have the 7 drop and a Kyros. So that's like almost kind of tempting to pick up. But he becomes an 8 cost anyway. So I kind of want to bottom deck. I could search with that. No, I just want to swing 6. Okay. Got a Black Maria. So no 10 drop this turn, although we're still extremely healthy. He could Sanji again and pressure my Jozu. We'll see. I mean, he's got a lot of answers. Hands like this make me feel like I should put back the pudding into the list. But, you know, personally, it's not what I'm going for, right? Although maybe just 1 copy couldn't hurt, right? For 9 cards in hand. Plays back out the Zoro. Again, that's fine. I'm not really too much concerned with like him getting more resources as I am just denying him swings on the board, right? He picked no cards to draw. I knew he was going to whiff anyway, so that's why I gave him the Zoro back. Just got that foresight, you know? 5 at us. I mean, we'll counter the 5 with actually Sengoku, because if I Perona, I'm just looking for and we'll take red rock Kyros. Nice. Fair enough. He didn't attach Dawn, so I could just bottom deck both of them. So I'll do that after I Perona. Hey, there's a red rock. So I'll draw a 2K counter, and then red rock will be my next one. And then, you know, whatever is whatever. We'll grab blade, draw, swing 7 and 7 at his life. Pretty good pressure. Again, even getting the red rock, we're not putting him in a position where he's safely able to play out that 10 drop anyway, because we're still at 4 life. And it's a very uphill battle when you are at 1 or 0 life and your opponent's still at like 4. I mean, we can probably just counter out of anything, but we can just take anyway. I don't think we're in danger. I mean, I could have countered out of that, but okay, there's a Luffy. Does he play out a blocker? I mean, this is going to hurt if I just red rock that. That's kind of just disrespectful at a point, right? Like, if he doesn't put out a blocker, obviously I don't think I don't know. If he leaves up a Don for Gum Gum, it does kind of lend to I should red rock, right? Don't know. I don't want to be a jerk and like win more, keep playing when I could have just swung, but he has 10 cards in hand. If he leaves up 1 for Gum Gum, there's a very high likelihood that 15 doesn't get us there, and then he's in a much better spot with that 10-12, right? So we'll see what he splits here. Especially if he ignores Jozu too. but he doesn't, which is what I was expecting almost. Okay. Blocker Robin. Black Maria. So no Gum Gum Giant. Right? Oh, no. Wait. He still does. No, he doesn't. Blocker, though. Yeah, I think I feel bad, but I'm going to Red Rock his Luffy. Draw. Probably just bounce back the blocker. Swing 5. Obviously, he's going to counter out, but now we've gotten rid of his Luffy and got rid of 1k counter. Because we were at 10 Don, he didn't have to put back any, but I think if you Black Maria with Black Yellow Luffy and then like end it to... Okay, surely... That's crazy. You don't often get to play out 2 of them. I'll give him that. You know, that is wild. Well, 2k. This is unfortunate. We just can't stun it with Boa. Yeah, we're actually kind of in trouble. You know, if he leaves up a lot of Don here, again, 15k might not go through. We have a couple of blockers. Well, 1 blocker, right? But it's rough. This is actually getting kind of scary. At this point, I would assume he has Gum Gum Giant. Zoro to ramp him. He's got to have Giant, right? He's already back up to 7 Don. Whew. I love this card, though, so I can't even be mad. We're going to 1 and 1. 12 we take. Kaido. Does he play out the Robin again and a Giant? Okay. Okay, so again, this feels silly, but my best bet might be to Kaido, get rid of these 2, because that's a 4 and a 3, and then just swing 5s. And then I'm actually a little bit in trouble if he gets any rush cards, which he might have, because we're kind of bricked up here. We're gonna go here, boom, bam, draw. Got 1k counter. This is getting very close. I like it. The second Luffy, you never know, right? That's kind of crazy. A little bit unpredictable. Hopefully he values this swing here, right? Maybe he can establish 2 blockers. Giant's the 5k. His hand, okay, he could be looking for a rush card. That could be a really good play. Hopefully these are 2 2ks, or else I'm actually very much in trouble. But yeah, overall, man, the meta is like so weird. It feels like in set 10, it's like definitely like a lot of like Blackbeard feels very strong. It's like very consistent. I had 3000 Worlds, the event to like bottom deck Burgess, but at the end of the day, that deck is so consistent that getting rid of 1 Burgess, it doesn't matter too much. So much Shanks, and I don't know. It's my own personal, like, it's so weird. KO's my law. It's so weird seeing how the meta shapes up. Like, everyone was so scared about I'm gonna 1 and 1. I don't know. About like 8-drop Kid and how strong it was, but I feel like so many people are on Shanks that alone kind of dissuades it, right? So yeah, I was looking forward to playing Boa in set 10, and I still am. But man, oh man, I can't remove that. I can't remove it. I just have to hope that like 13 and 14 gets there, right? If he can counter out of this, then block the next. I could have also Kirost. Okay, hopefully just gets us there. I don't know. I mean, I still hope, like, looking forward to playing Boa in set 10. It just changes up the deck list a lot, makes you think a bit more. There goes the Giant. who knows? Like at the end of the day, also with like the upcoming block system and like the unified release and all that, it's like I feel like the sets are gonna be GG, like so condensed that if you don't like one meta, it'll be there for like a shorter period of time. So hopefully the next one is more fun for you, because I was looking forward to playing Bonnie like regardless of the meta, because I like green, right? And I knew going into it from seeing like the games in the East that Tashigi didn't make it better when removal was so strong in terms of like black decks, right? And cost reduction removal. And Blackbeard also kind of, you know, negates 8-drop kit anyway, so you can't rely on it a lot of times. But then seeing the ban list and then everyone hype up green so much, and yes, Bonnie is still very strong, don't get me wrong, but I'm just looking for more decks to play now anyways. But those are the games. Hopefully there were some good examples of like tempo curves, right? Definitely could find more room for some pieces. Again, this was just kind of like a testing thing for a couple of these cards, right? Putting the Boa back in and putting the Doflamingo back in. Seeing how it goes against some matches, right? It's just about having an answer to whatever your opponent played out while establishing some kind of pressure, right? We're a very slow deck, but I mean, that's what we're supposed to be, you know? I think it was a little bit strong to have Jinbei in here to give the very slow controlled deck also a form of going aggro. Like that's a little bit crazy. But now this feels like just a play our curve tempo cards and hopefully outpace our opponent that way, right? But yeah, let me know what you think of the list down in the comments if you've been playing Boa, if you're looking forward to playing Boa. Thoughts on the set 10 meta post ban? You know, it's got like some time to settle, so we're seeing a lot more. Obviously, Bonnie is still being played a lot. It's like if you can get the 8-cost kid to stick, it's still very strong. Or even like 9-drop Zoro, right? Like even though there's so many answers in the game, it's like you're not always going to have the answer, you know, but can you dodge the answer for 9 rounds in a big tournament is the question, right? Eventually you're going to run into something, you know. I'm rambling about this because I'm thinking about my online regional I've got coming up. I think Boa could be a contender for a pick if I'm trying to take it seriously, right? Because Bonnie was my pick for a while, but playing so many Shanks and like purple's got answers, black still has answers to Kid and like the rest of our board. You know, sorry, video not about Boa, but you know, it is about the meta in general, right? Boa feels good because our cards a lot of time are just getting value immediately through removing your opponent's pressure while drawing us cards, right? I think it's just a balance with finding some room for some of the new stuff. Maybe we don't need 4 Red Rocks. I just really like Red Rock. It's really good for so many matchups, you know. I kind of want to find room for more Dofi and, you know, just finding more solutions, more answers to whatever your opponent plays out. The main thing I'm thinking about right now is 8 cost. 8 costs, 9 costs are a bit trickier to deal with, requiring either a Kaido or a Red Rock, and you really want to save the Red Rock for a 10 cost, you know? So it is in the air with what we're going to put in for like finalized ratios. Who knows? You know, I like the list a lot. I like the deck a lot. It feels very strong. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. Any thoughts? Things we do differently, change up, let me know. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.